Welcome to Bamber Racing Radio. I'm Bamber Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman. And we are here for the Texas review of the NASCAR Cup Series. So another exciting race from the weekend of racing in Texas at Texas Motor Speedway. Your overall thoughts about the race, Jay? What were your overall thoughts about the race at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series, Jay?
Well, I think our friend Tommy is going to be severely upset and disappointed and frustrated and whatever other words. Not a big fan of Joey Logano, not a big fan of Texas Motor Speedway. However, I thought it was good racing as it was in the Xfinity and trucks. And I know that's one of our hot topics questions that we'll talk about later tonight. But I thought it was a good race. Again, until the end, even at the end, there were a couple of possibilities. You had Joey Logano, who got out front, as they say, grind it out. Did he have the best car and whoop him? No, he did not. Led 2 times for 7 laps. Ross Chastain was coming. I don't know how many laps he would have needed. You had a couple of top cars that ended up shuffled back or didn't get the opportunity to finish the race. So it's one of those, I think you had everything you could ask for as far as a race, honestly.
Absolutely.
Other than maybe your favorite driver not being the one that won.
I know. I was really hoping there, but at least it was Team Penske, so that was a good thing. That's 2 weeks in a row for Team Penske, by the way, which I thought was kind of interesting too, because they've been kind of on a slow go here for the start of the season. It sounds like they're getting their footing under them, and we may see a string of those coming up here. But let's talk about Joey Logano winning the Wurth 400 NASCAR Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway for his first win of the season. We've been talking all season long about what a poor start Joey Logano has had as our defending champion. Well, that conversation can end now because Joey Logano is going to be in the playoffs with his win at Texas Motor Speedway. It's the second at Texas victory for Joey Logano and the 37th career win for him. Ross Chastain came in second, followed by Ryan Blaney. Then it was Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, and Daniel Suarez. Not our usual suspects up in the top 10, but I like what we see there. Logano just led the 7 laps on the day. He took the lead with 3 laps to go and held on through the late race caution and overtime finish to win by 0.346 thousandths of a second. The pole sitter, Carson Hocevar, led 22 laps early in the race, but he was caught up in an accident with 30 laps remaining. Lost several laps and ended up finishing in 24th place. And just to lead in, I wanted to put this on the list too, and I haven't yet. Still some complaints about Carson Hocevar in both the Truck Series race and the Cup Series race. So I don't think people are yet happy with him. Stage 1 was won by Austin Cindric. Stage 2 won by Kyle Larson. There were 20 lead changes among 13 drivers, 12 cautions for 73 yellow flag laps, and the average speed of the race was 116.885 miles per hour. The highest finishing rookie in this race was Riley Herbst, and he finished in 14th place. As far as the fastest lap bonus, that goes to Carson Hocevar. On lap 2, he hit the fastest lap, and actually it was pretty good. It was at 28.556 thousandths of a second. And the margin of victory, I think we already talked about that, so I won't repeat it. But your thoughts, Jay, about the top 10 finishers, some not our usual suspects.
Yeah, there is some odd storylines here, if you will. The first off, I want to say I'm looking forward to hot topics. Then, if we're talking about Carson Hocevar, because I hadn't really heard that. I hadn't been on social media today. Okay, yeah, I hadn't been on social media. I didn't hear any of that of the two times I was in the vehicle on Sirius XM. Overall, was hearing good things of not just about the race. So with the race, Joey Logano, we knew this was coming. We saw it last week of, the DQ took it away, but he got his first top five, but was a DQ, so wiped out. We've seen that and we've known they're running good. The Penske's, Fords in general, but Penske specifically, just not getting the finishes. Had Austin Cindric not had some issues, I think we would have saw three of the Penske's in the top 10, as well as their affiliate team of Josh Berry, who had a very strong car, but had some issues and ended up.
If you remember, Jay, we talked about the Chevrolets being dominant at this track. So it was good to see the Fords prevail.
Now, again, of were they out front and leading and dominating? Yeah, it was Austin Cindric led 3 times for 60 laps. But then Kyle Larson 4 times for 90 laps. So they were at least competitive. We'll say that. Why it is, I don't know, but you mentioned it, and they did talk about this, comparing it to a super speedway or drafting style track of not your normal mixture of top 10 finishers. A lot of different reasons, a lot of different pit strategies and different things that brought that about. Some late race situations. My heart goes out to Michael McDowell. He took his best shot at protecting and trying to have a good finish. But Ross Chastain, and I kind of put this on Hot Topics. I know it's a little early. Normally around the All-Star race, though, they do what we call the mid-season report card. Yes. So we'll kind of do that. But you're starting to see it. Teams that are climbing in the standings are getting their stuff together and headed in the right direction. Some teams that aren't, unfortunately. I think Penske is one of those that is. They just need to get the finishes, and Joey Logano did. And I say that he just absolutely ground it out. Like I said, led 2 times for 7 laps. Not that he wasn't there. He was up there all race. Now, although he started 27th, he continually worked his way to the front. Ross Chastain, on the other hand, if you listen to his post-race interview, he said from Saturday all the way until that last pit stop on Sunday, he was not comfortable with the handling of that car. Once they got it to a comfortable setup for him, he drove it up to the front and passed cars. I just want to point that out. The other real highlight here, Legacy Motor Club. Eric Jones finished in 5th, was up there. Again, could have maybe had a shot at it at the victory, as well as his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, who ended up 8th. And then you also had a teammate to Ross Chastain at Colleague Racing. Daniel Suarez slid in the 10th spot. So they had 2 in the top 10. That's great to see. I like that again, as these teams that have been struggling or just not having a good start to the season, kind of getting it together. I think RCR did. Austin Dillon finished with the 7th place finish. Kyle Busch had a good car, did not get the finish. Again, situations created or brought about. But again, I look forward to the second half of the season if they can get the results that their races, the middle of the races, are showing they're capable of.
Yes. And you might recall, too, in our preview, I mentioned Riley Herbst. I called him a dark horse. He wasn't as high up as I had hoped for him. But that 14th place finish, I think, is his best of the season so far. And he is good on the 1.5 mile tracks. Guess what's coming up next? Kansas Speedway, another 1.5 mile track. And again, I think we'll see better results from Riley Herbst as he continues because he is that good on the 1.5 mile tracks. So I think we'll see him contending. And even Shane Van Gisbergen, the 2 rookies that we've had this year with Shane Van Gisbergen and Riley Earps. Shane Van Gisbergen finished with a 22nd place finish. We've been seeing these guys back in the high 20s and low 30s for most of this season. So it's really good to see both of them kind of improve this weekend. Now, there were a lot of accidents, and that probably contributes to it, but it's still good to see these guys have a good finish.
It is. And two more that I want to talk about just outside the top 10. Todd Gillen, who actually was running in the top 10 for several laps, led once for 4 laps. And then Ty Dillon, the number 10 for Colleague Racing. There too, if you look at their stat line, they're slowly but steadily showing improvement. It's not big gains where they're going from the top 20 or just like you said, of top 25 up into the top 10. It's a slow and gradual, but they are right there ready to take that next step into the top 10, I think.
Yes. And you know, I mentioned it. We talked about how dominant the Chevrolets are. We talked about how dominant Hendrick Motorsports is. We saw that kind of come to an end. They ran well during the race, but when it was all said and done, and I look at the Hendrick cars in particular, you had William Byron finished in 13th place, Chase Elliott in 16th place. Who's another?
Bowman got tangled up in one of the grass situations, I think.
Tangled up, that's true. Who's the other one that I'm missing?
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson finished up there in the top 5, but he was the only one of that Hendrick brigade. Not that they weren't running up there at points during the race, but in the end, Ford did break up that. Fords and Toyotas did kind of break that up.
Well, from watching the race, as best I recall, I know William Byron had something where the alignment was off. I remember him talking about that. I don't know what he did or how it got that way, but they were talking about that. And that affects then the handling of your car and the tire situation. As I mentioned, Alex Bowman got tangled up in one of the grass situations. And then Chase Elliott, and I know they were talking about him this morning. I don't remember what happened towards the end, but again, not indicative of where he ran, where he finished there in 16th. He was, again, right around top 10 to 5, maybe.
Yeah, they were up there. They just didn't close it out like we've been talking about Joey Logano not being able to close it out. So that was a little bit surprising, but kind of refreshing to see at the same time. We talked about the drivers that had a good day. There were several drivers that had accidents or mechanical failures. Denny Hamlin, gosh, I was kind of calling for him, get out of the car, because his car caught on fire. He had an engine problem, and it took him out of the race rather early, lap 73. Most of these are accidents. Chad Fincham out on lap 167, AJ Allmendinger and Alex Bowman. And let's see, there were 4 drivers here. Noah Gregson, Alex Bowman, AJ Allmendinger, and they were all out on lap 172 because of an accident. Lap 179, it was Bubba Wallace. Josh Berry was still running at the end of that race, but he came home with a 32nd place finish. Jesse Love had an accident that took him out on lap 217. Cody Ware on lap 237, along with Ryan Preece. Lap 246, Chase Briscoe was out because of a suspension issue. Back to the accidents, it was Michael McDowell who had that accident that took him out on lap 265. There were 23 cars finishing on the lead lap and completed all 271 laps of this race. But a lot of cars really running into some issues at Texas Motor Speedway. Everybody was expecting it to be turn 2, But actually, you mentioned it. That bump over in turn 4 caused a lot of havoc for a lot of drivers.
Well, and that's where I believe it was Josh Berry, and I don't remember if he was leading or top 3 at least. He might have even been leading when he did it. Kyle
Yes.
Busch did it. We saw Kyle Busch have a couple of incidences throughout the day, unfortunately. You talk about Denny Hamlin. Sharon, I don't know if you're a college football fan at all. We know how Denny Hamlin is, but for the Texas Longhorns, it's horns up is their thing. And he came out during driver intros.
About the Texas Longhorns.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, apparently during driver intros, he did the horns down.
Oh,
and so,
shame on him.
Well, that's why there were a lot of people saying karma bit him. But I was with you.
Texas.
Yeah. I didn't hear about that. I knew he hadn't been cheered during driver intros, but I didn't know why. I found that out this morning listening to the morning drive. And yeah, they were saying that, well, karma comes around, something poked a hole in his
well, he's always trying to grab
pan.
a headline. He does that stuff to grab a headline, and people respond to it.
I don't mind of the embracing the dislike, but to egg it on to that level, I think is that's one of again.
Hate him.
Yeah, you're pushing on that, but that's his choice. I mean, like I said, of coincidental that he had that engine issue, because it did break what was the longest streak. What was it? I believe 21 races, finishing on the lead lap. That has come to an end with all of that. I know they talked about that, but there were several drivers.
Been having something to say about Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is certainly a plausible answer if you believe in karma. Like I said, one team I wanted to highlight here, and you were talking about Hendrick Motorsports. Well, just talk about Hendrick Motors, because that's where Spire Motorsports comes in.
Yes. That's
Justin
Michael McDowell.
Yeah, Justin Haley finished 15th. However, the two that were really up there, you mentioned Carson Hocevar, and I hadn't heard much about him as what you did, but I wasn't on social media. Had the fastest lap, had the pole, had the fastest lap, and was up there. Then there at the end, Michael McDowell, did everything he could to try and keep Joey Logano, as well as Ryan Blaney, I think, is the one that got by him. Cut up in front of him, did nothing wrong, but once that air got disturbed, he lost his car. The air, and he lost his car. I don't know if that was over the bump itself, but it certainly was the air pressure change, and McDowell lost it.
Yeah, Ryan Preece upset with Carson Hocevar after the wreck that they had.
Okay.
And I know Ben Rhodes was not happy with the way he was raced by Carson Hocevar in the truck series. So from two different series, there were two different drivers that were upset with him, and the way he was driving them on the racetrack. His car, by the way, you talk about being skewed. He was driving his car really cockeyed into the pits.
That's one of
that?
Yeah, got to give him a shout out, because again, I was like, I can't even believe he's driving it. The front toe link broke. Whatever him and I don't remember if Priest is the one he jumped over, but yeah, got turned in front of him in the right front. I mean, drove over the front, literally drove over the front end. Fortunate he didn't actually roll over, because he got up in the air right front over the left front of somebody. I don't remember if that was Priest or not, but Priest ended up involved in it. And then, that car was, absolutely sideways, and he drove it that way all the way to pit road. I thought it was pretty impressive.
And they were able to fix it because he finished the race running, finished 24th. That was the wreck that took Ryan Preece out on lap 237, along with Cody Ware. So I knew I had bookmarked it so I would remember later. But I know Ben Rhodes also was not happy with him at the finish of the race in the truck series.
Okay. That one I hadn't heard. I didn't.
Sixth place. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So just the fact that people are still complaining just kind of tells you that he still isn't quite getting it. Okay, so it's to me, it's the respect for the other drivers and the cost. To me, he still drives somewhat, not always, because he has talent. I recognize his talent, but sometimes it feels like he's racing like he's in a video game where he kind of thinks everybody just resets and starts over again. And when you've got you come from a wealthy family that cost doesn't mean anything, it kind of shows up in that way. But what about the guys that you're taking out of these races and the cost of them? In order to get respect, you have to give respect. And that's why I think he's not getting it when the drivers are complaining about the way he's driving. So that's just my take on that.
Well, and I'll have to maybe go back and watch some of that because, like I said, I hadn't even heard about that from the Truck Series. I knew Priest was involved with him in that one in the Cup Series, though. So I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, and Ben Rhodes just lost. He was running and contending for the win, and when Carson Hosfar came up in the Truck Series race, he squeezed Ben Rhodes out, and he ended up having to lift in order to avoid an accident. And so he went back to 6th instead.
Well, if you want to look at the point standings here for the Cup Series, this one's again tightened up a little bit. You talked about William Byron having a solid day, ended up 14th. Kyle Larson 4th though, so that points gap is now 13 points. William Byron is still your points leader with only 1 win but 3 stage wins and 8 playoff points. However, Kyle Larson 2 wins, 6 stage wins, and a total of 16 playoff points. Denny Hamlin 2 wins, 2 stage wins, and 12 playoff points. Then you got Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick without victories or stage wins, but up there, solid finishes week in and week out. Christopher Bell with 3 wins and a stage win has 16 playoff points as well. Those are your top playoff points right there. Then you got Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace. Joey Logano now with that win moves into 9th and has a total of 7 playoff points, so he's building them up a little bit. Alex Bowman still hanging on to 10th place. We talked about that. He was tied for 4th at one point, now down to 10th and hanging right there. But you got guys that are coming. Ross Chastain, 11th. 12th is Chris Buescher. Chase Briscoe, 13th. Austin Cindric, 14th, who does have a race win as well as 2 stage wins, so also has 7 playoff points. And then 15th is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 16th is Kyle Busch. However, who are we missing? Josh Berry got the victory, has had some good runs, but had some bad finishes as well. 24th in points, but with the win, would be into the playoffs at this point. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 15th is the cut line at 240 points. Kyle Busch is 12 behind him. 2 more go. Then you have, no, I did that wrong. Stenhouse at 240. Kyle Busch is 12 back at 228. 9 points back is Carson Hocevar in 17th. Then it is 2 back to Ryan Preece and AJ Allmendinger in a tie. 3 more back to Michael McDowell. 2 more back to Austin Dillon. 4 more back to Ty Gibbs. 1, John Hunter Nemechek. And then you got Josh Berry's in a tie with Daniel Suarez. But I look at Ryan Preece. Should have had more 30 to 40 points there after his DQ. Should actually be up further. We have seen Michael McDowell come real close to winning. So there's a couple in there that we know are capable of or close to it. So that cut line, just hanging out there, not going to be a safe zone. It's really not.
It's not. And you know, you talk about the ties between Ryan Preece and AJ Allmendinger, that, you know, 1 point would make a difference for them. Same thing with Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. They're tied up at the top. That 1 point again. And we'll see this carry out throughout the year.
Well, and I say that, and we've talked about that of the one Xfinity Fast Lap Award, that 1 point or getting one position by coming out when your lap's down. If you gain one position, that gets you 1 point. The Ryan Preece deal, and I said this one really hurt when he took that penalty of, on average,
Yes.
if he'd have finished in the 5th position, you're looking at about 40 points or more. And I'll even go as low as 30. If you were to add 30 to his, he would have 47 and be in the 12th to 13th position in between Chris Buescher and Chase Briscoe. I think he had a little bit more than that. So, I mean, that hurts. That really hurts. Unless you get the win, and Joey Logano did. So we knew that he was very capable of it and kind of expected it. Ryan Preece has been very solid this year and could happen, but I don't think we ranked it the same as we did Joey Logano. It was really expected with Joey Logano. It was just a matter of when.
Right, right. And you mentioned Legacy Motor Club too, having a good run this week. It would be good to see them rise up these ranks too. Right now, I just had it here. John Hunter Nemechek is 23rd. And where's Eric Jones?
29th.
Eric Jones is 29th. So it would be great to see them if they can continue this run like they had at Texas on the 1.5 mile tracks. I would like to see them rise up the ranks there too.
Well, and that's where I said this stretch of 1.5 miles, because we do have Kansas coming up, and then the All-Star race, and then Charlotte for points races, 3 1.5s in a row, is really going to show where these teams are at. So this was one race. I don't want to say fluke, but might have been of a good race. To be consistent, you have to show it week in and week out. So we'll see over these next couple of 1.5 miles where these teams are at. And there again, you hit kind of the mid-season, kind of do a report card or look at some of the organizations. And what bothers me is, even when you look at an organization, 1 or 2 are good and 1 or 2 aren't. Sharon, I was amazed this morning on the morning drive. There were people very upset and against Chase Elliott. Some asking for him to either quit or get fired, fire his crew chief, do something.
Why
he's fourth
with him?
From what I gathered from it, because he's only running top 10 and appears to be content there. And what was it? Mike Bagley was like, he's 4th in points, right? I mean, you're not going to fire a driver who's 4th in points. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. What are they expecting from him? I just.
Well, but if you're comparing him to Kyle Larson or William Byron, they're 1 and 2, and Chase Elliott again. But that's where you got to look at the whole story. He is there. He is just not getting the wins per se.
Yeah.
But I think Kevin Harvick said it on the pre-race show. The consistency of even, say, top 5 to top 10, good, get you where you're at in the 4th place. Are you going to win a championship with that? Not likely. We've seen that. We've seen that. You pretty much got to win the championship race to win the championship. It's not a guarantee. We've seen that happen here recently, but more times than not, winner of the race, that championship 4 race, is the winner of the championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so they have to, I don't know. I think they have unrealistic expectations there because he has been consistent. And he has shown some signs of really contending up front. He does fall back once in a while, but at the end, he's there. So was this the race that he was there at the end? Probably not.
Yeah, he fell back a little bit further than what he was running and should have finished. But one thing I think he falls at.
Fired. I don't get that.
Yeah, that was that again of. It's one of those of your favorite driver isn't winning, then it's a bad race and you're not happy. I get it. But one of the things I think that he falls in that category with Kyle Busch, as active drivers, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, retired drivers, Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson. This car is different than what they were used to and accustomed to and good with. They're having to learn how to either adjust and drive the car or get the crew chief to understand what they need from the car Kyle Busch said it of, I can no longer tell a crew chief, make this change because he
Right.
doesn't understand the engineering of this car. But he has gotten to a point where you can say, hey, I need the car to do this. And the crew chief knows what to do and gets it for him. One
So
of the
that's
two.
good.
I mean,
And that's it. That's what these guys are having to adjust to with this next gen car or Gen 7 car, I should say. It's just not an easy car to drive. I know a lot of people are saying it's ruining racing. And I just don't buy that either, because some people have figured out this car and they're doing well with it. So to say that it's ruining racing overall, I think is an unfair assessment.
yeah, like I said, it was just interesting. I'm like, we're talking about most popular driver here, right? I mean, you're behind the most popular driver no matter what.
Yes.
But and some of it I understand of, hey, you got a teammate that's dominating in everything he touches.
Yes.
So yeah, they are looking to compare that, but
But
this
it's hard
car,
to compare yourself to Kyle Larson. He's the one
exactly.
in every car he gets into. So how do you don't compare it to that?
I mean, yeah, you strive for that, but to say that it's not the same, again, Chase Elliott had more time and experience in the previous generations of cars,
Yes.
and Hendrick Motorsports, the way they set them up. So, you gotta adjust, adapt, like you said, adapt.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to talk about here in the Cup Series, Jay?
No, I'm really excited again of as we look at progression over the next 2 weeks, specifically with these 1.5s. I think we're really going to see the projected playoffs. I'll use that word because, again, we have some road courses down the road, and there's a wide range of drivers that could pick up a
Yes.
win. I know you said it earlier, and they were talking about that. I don't fear it, but technically, Joey Logano is not locked into the playoffs with that victory because he's 9th in points. If we were to get multiple new winners, he could get pushed out. I don't see it, but we have seven? I think it was 7 winners in these 11 races. So in the next 15, do we see 8? Because we'd have to get to 15. 8 different winners in the next 16 or 15 races. It's possible, but I think when you look at the list of ones that are below him that would get a victory, I don't know if I see 8 of them below him. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Time always tells the rest of the story. That's the way I look at it. It's going to be fun watching the rest of the story unfold. And that's what these next few races are going to be all about. So we'll just let that happen and go from there. I think we've completed all of our previews, Jay, between you and Sal. So this was our last review, I should say, for the night. And we do have an interview that we've done here today as well with Jan Qualkenbush, who is the team owner for Jan's Towing and Racing in the ARCA West and ARCA Menard series. And we interviewed his drivers, Kyle Keller and Robbie Keneally earlier this year. Now we've interviewed the team owner. So it was really great to get a different perspective there. And he gave us a tour of his race shop as well, and talked about how he goes about business, which is, I think, unique for when you think about the bigger racing teams. But there's racing teams all across the country that are running on a shoestring and rely on so many other people to make things work. And it was interesting to hear his story about that. So definitely, if you get a chance to listen to that later, I would really encourage you to tune in to that interview. I'll probably get it out tomorrow morning, concentrating on our reviews here for tonight's editing and publishing.
Well, no, I'm looking forward to watching that. You and Salte doing that as I was traveling home today. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching that one.
Yeah, I am. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, I know the quality might be a little bit lower than we usually have, but considering that he's giving us that tour, I think it was well worth sacrificing that photo quality for what we were able to see. Also at 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central, and 7 o'clock Pacific time, we have our live stream of our NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off. You've heard Jay and me both allude to some things that we'll be talking about on Hot Topics here tonight. So we hope you'll join us and tune in for that during the live stream, if possible. I know people are busy, but if you get a chance, we'd really enjoy having you join the conversation, if you will, and enjoy the stream. So Chris Crichton will be joining us for Hot Topics tonight, along with Jay and myself. So definitely looking forward to that.
I am as well, and I will talk to you then later on tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. And we always appreciate each and every listener. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody.